Every year, until 3,000 species, they are officially declared extinct. Words are written, reports are closed, files are archived. But what if, in some cases, extinction was simply a human error? What if the animal hadn't disappeared, but just out of our field of vision? Imagine walking through a forest where no one has set foot for decades. The ground is intact, the air was heavy, the profound silence, and then realizing something disturbing. Silence. It's not empty, because sometimes extinction isn't the end. It's only when we stop looking. Today, I'm going to show you 10 species. Some are most likely still alive. Others disappeared forever. There is no romance here. There are no fans, only logic, evidence, and the brutal reality of the habitat. Take a deep breath, because the world is too big to be absolutely certain of anything. If you're already curious about this topic, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for even more surprising facts. Let's go. The Java tiger. Declared officially extinct in 2003, Java is one of the most populated islands in the world. 140 million people live there. How could a tiger go unnoticed in a place like that? But in 2019, a team of biologists found something. Samples of hair trapped in barbed wire in a remote forest area. The genetic analysis was done, and it matched Javan tiger. It wasn't a Sumatran tiger. It wasn't another subspecies. It was him. Java has giant cities, roads, farms, but it also has mountains covered in dense rainforest where almost no one ventures. National parks with areas of dense forest where tourists still get lost today. A tiger needs territory, and territory exists. The tiger doesn't need the whole island. It needs 100 square kilometers of forest where nobody goes, and that's what Java has. My verdict, definitely alive. What's missing? 100% publicly available and peer-reviewed genetic evidence, direct photos, clear video, but hairs on barbed wire in a remote area with DNA matching, that's not an accident. The New Zealand moose. Wait, moose in New Zealand? Yes. They were introduced in 1910 as a hunting experiment, 10 moose roaming free in the Fiordland region, in the south of the island. In the 1950s, they were declared extinct. Nobody saw them anymore. That was it. It was over. But there are still reports of this today, and these aren't vague accounts from people who have never seen a moose in their lives. They are experienced hunters, people who know the difference between a deer and a moose, describing enormous horns, absurd size, specific behavior. The Fiordland region is a green and icy labyrinth. Steep mountains covered in dense temperate forest, deep valleys, icy rivers, constant fog. Wild buffalo live there unseen for years. There are reports of people who spend their entire lives walking through the region and never see a buffalo, but they are there. Why wouldn't a moose, which is even more elusive, survive? Fiordland is over 12,000 square kilometers. Almost no one goes there. My verdict, definitely alive. What's missing? Clear photo, video, DNA, horn found. But logic hits hard, very hard. The giant lizard of La Palma. La Palma is an island in the Canary Islands, small, volcanic. The giant lizard that lived there was declared extinct decades ago. But in 2007, tourists took photos of a giant lizard on the island. It wasn't just another lizard. It was big, the right size in the right place. It appeared on a trail. It was photographed, and it disappeared, never seen again. La Palma has vertical volcanic cliffs, caves, unexplored wooded areas, and steep slopes where only goats can walk. And giant lizards are masters at hiding. They make no noise. They leave no obvious trace. They live in rock crevices. If you have a small population like 50 or 100 individuals, it's perfectly possible that they could go unnoticed. My verdict, probably alive. What's missing? An expedition with night vision cameras, camera traps in rocky areas, and a focused search. But if a tourist finds it by accident, a scientist finds it intentionally. The Malagasy hippopotamus. Madagascar is famous for its lemurs, fossils, and unique biodiversity. And there were hippos too. 3 different species, all declared extinct centuries ago. Extinction caused by humans. However, one skull that was found was dated as more recent than previously thought. We're not talking about 1,000 years ago. We're talking about a few hundred. And there are local reports, even today, of large animals in the rivers that nobody takes seriously. Madagascar has remote swamps in the interior, rivers that almost no one explores. Hippos are nocturnal. They stay submerged during the day and come out at night to eat. In a muddy river with dense vegetation and thick forest all around, is it possible to go unnoticed? Perhaps. Madagascar has a large but concentrated human population. The interior is sparsely populated. My verdict, I might be alive. What's missing? Modern confirmation. DNA, clear footprints, feces, a photo, anything. It's a longer shot, but it's not impossible. A Malabar civet, declared extinct, last reliable record decades ago. But here's the detail, it was hardly researched at all. The area where he lived, dense forest in the Western Ghats, India, one of the most biodiverse regions on the planet, and one of the least explored. Dense forest, mountainous, rainy, difficult to access. Civets are nocturnal, solitary and silent. They make no noise, they don't attract attention. They live alone, hunt alone, die alone. Disappearing from science is not the same as disappearing from the world. Science only sees what it looks for, and nobody looked properly. In the Western Ghats, new species of amphibians, reptiles and insects are still being discovered today. Why wouldn't a civet be there, quietly going about its life? My verdict, probably alive. What's missing? Night vision cameras installed in the right area, serious tracking with camera traps, because no one has looked properly yet. The Good Excavator of Round Island. Round Island is a tiny islet near Mauritius. The boa constrictor that lived there has been declared extinct. Last sighting, years ago, but it was a snake that lived underground. And here comes the central question. How do you declare an underground animal extinct? Are you digging up the entire island, meter by meter? Round Island has been ecologically devastated by introduced rabbits and goats. The vegetation was destroyed. The soil was exposed. But the underground habitat still exists, and subterranean snakes can go years without being seen. They don't come out to sunbathe. They don't hunt on the surface. They live underground, eating earthworms, larvae, and invertebrates. If you have a small population, like 20 or 30 individuals, living a meter deep, who would know? My verdict, I might be alive. What's missing? Focused searches using methods related to subterranean fauna, controlled excavations, soil traps, seismic sensors, infrared cameras in burrows, because if she's down there, we would never know. The Delcourt's giant gecko, the world's largest gecko, 60 centimeters long, known for a single specimen, found in a museum in 1979. Nobody knew where it came from, no label, no information. Just the stuffed animal, enormous, stored away. Years later, researchers discovered it came from New Caledonia, island in the South Pacific. And the best part? New Caledonia still has giant geckos alive today. Close cousins, same family, same habitat. And there's dense rainforest that almost no one has entered. Mountainous, remote areas that are difficult to access. Geckos are nocturnal. They live in trees. They don't make noise. If there's a giant live gecko there, who would even want to see it? My verdict: I might be alive. What's missing? Focused night expedition, tree traps, search with infrared flashlights. Because if you have a living cousin living in the same type of forest, why don't you have him? The Cape lion, famous for its enormous black mane, larger and darker than any other lion. It lived in South Africa. It was hunted until the end of the 19th century. Last individual killed in 1865. That's it. It's over. Extinct. But there's an interesting hypothesis. What if it didn't disappear, but blended in? Some lions in South Africa still have darker manes than normal. Could this be residual DNA? Natural hybridization before total extinction? The pure 100% Cape lion probably died. But some of the genes may be alive in other lions. It's almost philosophical. It's extinct as a subspecies, but genetically, fragments of it remain alive. My verdict: a shot in the dark. What's missing? Clear genetic analysis of South African lions proving direct lineage, but it's more of a genetic ghost than a living creature. The Mexican grizzly bear, a subspecies of brown bear that lived in northern Mexico, declared extinct in 1964, hunted to the end. But in 1968, 4 years after its official extinction, a photographer claimed to have taken a picture of one. The photo disappeared, or it never existed. Nobody knows. After that, sporadic reports throughout the decades. Footprints found, signs of a bear, local stories, nothing concrete, nothing that can withstand scientific scrutiny. The Sierra Madre, where he lived, is immense, remote, full of unexplored valleys, gorges, and pine forests. But bears are big animals. They leave tracks. They eat a lot. They need enormous territory. It's hard to go unnoticed for 60 years. Not impossible, but difficult. My verdict: a shot in the dark. What's missing? Current proof, a clear photo, DNA, an unmistakable footprint, hair found. Because the story of a lost photo doesn't count. I wanted to believe, but logic doesn't help. The black rhinoceros of West Africa, officially declared extinct in 2011. The last search was done in 2006. Nothing. Hunted down to the last individual for its horn. And the habitat? Open plains, exposed savanna, no dense forest. An adult rhinoceros weighs over 1 ton. It is over 3 meters long. There's nowhere to hide. It's not a tiger that lives in the dense forest. It's not a subterranean snake. It's a rhinoceros in an open field, in an area that has been monitored for decades. If there had been one alive, someone would have seen it. My verdict: extinct. Is it possible to reintroduce other black rhinos to the area? Yes. Is it possible to restore the ecosystem? Yes. But it's not the same animal. It's not the same genetics. This one, it's gone. And that's the saddest part. When extinction is real, definitive, irreversible. When science declares something extinct, sometimes it's true. The creature disappeared. It's gone. It's finished. But sometimes it's just the limit of our reach. We couldn't find it. We didn't look properly. We didn't have the technology. And here comes the nagging question. We seek out these species to save them, or to prove we were right. Because declaring extinction is easy. It's difficult to admit that maybe we were wrong. The hard part is going back into the forest with better cameras, more time, more patience, and searching again. And if one of these animals is still alive, every day that passes without protection is a day less for it. Every year without a search is a year closer to actual extinction. What if, tonight, a single camera lost in a remote forest captures a gleam in someone's eye? 2 points of light reflecting in the darkness. And when the biologists review the recording, They realized they were wrong in their verdict, because extinction is sometimes just a point of view, and the world is too big for us to be absolutely certain of anything. Which of these 10 do you think is still alive? And which one do you think is impossible? Share your top 3 in the comments below. I want to know if you're on Team Hope or Team Realism. In the next video, we're going to talk about species that disappear in the desert, the deep sea, and even the giant rivers of the Amazon. And then, the logic becomes much more frightening, because there are some animals that even if they were alive, we would never find.